Dear parents, good evening. My name is Kostas. I'm one of the assistant head teachers at Pascal English School in Larnaca, and one of my portfolios is career advising for our students at our school. This is the presentation regarding the optional subjects of 2020. And since we cannot meet face-to-face, I have created this video presentation in order to better help you understand the system that our school is implementing when it comes to optional subjects. Year 3 students have already been presented with their optional subjects, and they should have received the optional subjects booklet as well. For 3C, unfortunately, we couldn't meet face-to-face, and I have given a Teams presentation to the student, and I have already forwarded to them the booklet as a soft copy. Let's have a quick review of what has happened during the first 3 academic years at our school. Our school has provided our pupils with broad, sound, and well-rounded education during these first 3 years. What follows on the upper part of the school is a study in-depth approach to the subjects that they would have chosen to study as of year 4. Let me point out that the subjects that they choose in year 3, they are to be followed in years 4, 5, and 6. Those subjects are called the optional subjects, and they comprise the foundation of their further university study. At this point in time, the students need to reflect on what they would like to study and what they intend to follow or what they are thinking of following in the future. Finding out what career orientation is best for them begins with looking at oneself. The school obviously continuously monitors their progress, and based on their ability and performance, they will be advised on their choices and on their readiness to take any external examinations involved. So some of the factors that are affecting the subject choices include the personality of each individual, and that is why I always stress to the students that the subject choices is something that has to do with their own individuality, with their own personality. The academic status of the student is also another important factor that has to do with the subject choices. Whether I am good in specific sciences or I'm good in mathematics will obviously have it's a factor that affects the choices that I will make for my future. The next factor has to do with the preferences of each individual and what subjects they would like to be more involved in for the upper part of their secondary education. Obviously, the strengths of each student, which subjects which areas they are good at, which areas they need to work a little bit harder in order to achieve the best possible result. The desired lifestyle of the student is another factor that affects their choices. That is the desired lifestyle. I simply mean how they would like to be learning, the type of learning that they would like to acquire through the next 3 years of their secondary education. Obviously, the interest and the future aspirations are also important factors when it comes to choosing the right subject. The very first factor that I have mentioned was the personality, and there are different ways that we can identify the personality of a student. Obviously, from your side, you have your own perception of the personality of your children. However, there are some tools that we can utilize online, the so-called personality test, which will help us and help the students identify their own personality. It's a series of online questions that the students need to carry out in order for the final result to be achieved, which will explain to them the type of person that they are. Obviously, friends and family, it's a very important factor in this case because the students will always ask their friends, will always confirm with the family about their options, and this is an input that we would like to incorporate within this subject choices procedure that we have to follow. All the above subject choosing tips are important so that our students choose those subjects that they are likely to do well and that they are most likely to enjoy as well. At the same time, however, These subjects need to be relevant and at the appropriate level of difficulty in relation to their future university study. So, for subject-specific questions, some of the subjects the students are already familiar with, whereas some other subjects, some students have no idea what they mean. For example, students have never had an experience with psychology, marketing, or accounting as a school subject. So pupils are encouraged to see the heads of the departments in order to find out more information about the subjects they are interested in and possible career options relevant to those subjects. I need to stress over here that the subject teachers and the heads of the departments have already been visiting the students in their classes and have already been presenting their own subjects to them. So the students should by now be familiar with the majority of the subjects, although some presentations are coming up early next week. When I was giving the presentation to the students, I have also provided them with a detailed booklet that includes the following information. It has a list of the subjects, both core subjects as well as optional subjects. I'm going to explain the difference between the two in a little bit. The booklet outlines the material covered in each common core and each elective subject, so it specifically explains the material that the students are going to be covering during those subjects. It suggests various examples of subject combinations for specific university course choices. For example, if I want to study to become an architect, what subject choices are best for me, or what subject choices are advised for a student to be taking. And the booklet also summarizes the aims of each subject in terms of external qualifications. So what's coming up next in the next 3 academic years? I have already informed the students that I want them to study as hard as they can from this academic year, and I want them to study effectively and efficiently as well in order for them to obtain the best possible results in all their subjects. In year 4, they will be given more details for the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program, so they can decide whether they would like to follow that during the last 2 years at the school. The alternative to the IB, of course, is the traditional international A-level route. That is the British secondary education examination series of the international A-levels. Their secondary education in the upcoming 3 years is crucial in paving their way to the university study and the course that they would like to follow in the future. Students at our school can submit their university applications through the school's career counseling office at the beginning of year 6. However, the process of university research and course of study research takes place from year 5, so that the students are able to understand the requirements of universities and the requirements of different countries that they would like to apply at. Our pupils have the option of applying to European, UK, US, Canadian, and any other universities worldwide in 3 different ways. The first way is with using the Apollitirion only. The second way is combining the Apollitirion along with their international A levels. And the third way, the students can combine the Apollitirion with the IB diploma or the IB certificates. So I previously mentioned the core and optional subjects. Core subjects are basically the subjects that everybody will be required to do during the second part of secondary education, that is in years 4, 5, and 6. So in order for all the students to obtain the Cyprus Apollitirion, which is the living certificate for secondary education in Cyprus, in years 4 to 6, they have to take and follow 6 core subjects. In addition to that, the students will be called to also choose from 3 up to 5 different optional subjects. So first, let's have a look at the 6 core subjects that our students will be taking. The first one is English, and right next to it you can see the examinations which the students can actually take as far as English is concerned. At the end of year 5, the students are taking the IGCSE, and at the end of year 6, the students can take the IELTS English examinations. These examinations are very important, and they are what I consider to be mandatory examinations for our students, since with these certificates they are able to apply for any English-speaking university. The second core subject is Greek, in which the students can take the IGCSE as well as the A-level examinations, and obviously they can also take the certificate of the very good knowledge of the Greek language. However, for non-native Greek speakers, the lesson over here becomes the Greek as a foreign language, and through which the students cannot again take any external examinations taken they have reached the required level. The third core subject is computing. Computing as the core subject is taught 2 periods per week, and it covers general areas of audio, video creation, graphics creation, as well as animation creation on the computers. The fourth core subject is Greek history, that is for the native Greek speakers, and Greek history in English for the non-native Greek speakers. The fifth subject is religious knowledge, again for the Greek speakers, and for the non-native Greek speakers we have religious studies. And last but not least, we have the subject of physical education, which is going to continue in all the 3 years as well, year 4, year 5, and year 6. And let me point out that the physical education subject here, as well as the computing, have nothing to do with the elective subjects of physical education and the elective subject of ICT. So these 6 subjects are subjects that all of our students need to carry out through their upper secondary education. With regards to the optional subjects, as you can see from the table, all the students are required to take 1 subject from each of the groups that you can see in front of you right now. I also need to point out that Group D is not obligatory. That is, the students can omit Group D if they don't want to choose a foreign language. So for Group A, the students are required to take 1 subject from these different subjects or subject combinations over here. For example, we have Mathematics 3 and 4, which is considered to be the highest level of mathematics. Mathematics in this group are being taught 8 periods per week. The difference between 3 and 4 does not take place in year 4. The difference and the streaming of the students in Mathematics 3 and 4 takes place at the beginning of year 5 after the consultation of the mathematics department. So this is the highest level of mathematics that our students can take. And for Mathematics 4, it simply means that the students will be given the opportunity to take the full A-level examination at the end of year 6. For Mathematics 3, that means that the students will be given the opportunity to take the Mathematics AS examination, which is half of the A-level at the end of year 6. Also, in this group, other subject combinations include Mathematics 2. For Mathematics 2, I need to clarify that this is the very basic level of mathematics, and it means that by the end of year 6, the students will be given the opportunity to take the IGCSE in mathematics. However, Mathematics 2 can be combined with art, which leads to the full A-level, or it can be combined with psychology, which leads up to the AES level by the end of year 6, or it can be combined with physical education as an elective subject. Let me point out once again that this subject of physical education, the elective subject, has nothing to do with the core subject. So for the first group, the students can choose 1 subject from this over here that we can see. The periods per week are also identified over here, so that you can understand the depth that each of the class is going to be taught at. From there onwards, we have Group B. In Group B, we have 2 physical sciences, physics as well as biology. We have history and accounting. The first 4 subjects over here, you can see they are level 4 subjects That means they are geared towards the full A level at the end of year 6. Group B also includes marketing at a basic level. The examination for marketing at the end of year 6 is basically the LCCI level 3 examination, which is again the London Chamber and Commerce Industry examination in order for the students to be certified in that particular subject. Also, the students are required to take one subject from this group over here. For group C, we have the third science, which is chemistry, again with the aim of the full A level at the end of year 6. Then we have the subject of economics, art and design, ICT, which is the information and communications technology. And the last level 4 subject in this group is English literature. Last subject of this group is Science 2, which as you may have already understood, Science 2 is basically a basic subject in the sciences which covers all the 3 sciences together, that is physics, biology, as well as chemistry. And at the end of year 6, the students can take the examination of IGCSE as well for that subject. Group D, it's for those students that are interested in either continuing the French language, which they have carried out during the first 3 years. The level of French is offered at the level 4, which means they can achieve up to B2 certificate from the Common European Framework Reference of Languages, and they also have the opportunity to take German instead of French, which is offered at ab initio level. That means the students will start from the beginning in order to learn the language in German. I need to point out that the CERF level that the students are going to achieve in German is up to B1. In this slide over here, you can identify and see, as I have explained before, the different codes for each subject. For example, code 4 will lead to the full A level at the end of year 6. Code 3 will lead to the half A level or IAS examination at the end of year 6. And 2 subjects belong in this can belong in this category. It's either psychology or mathematics 3. We have the code 2, as I have already explained, for subjects such as mathematics and science. We can achieve up to the IGCSE level in year 6, whereas for marketing, the examination is a little bit different. It's what we call the LCCI level 3 certificates. For German ab initio, as I already informed you, the level from the Common European Framework Reference is B1, and that is the maximum that the students can achieve. With regards to the options of the different subjects, the school has put down some criteria for the student to be able to enter specific subjects. For example, for mathematics 3 and 4, the school requires the students to achieve a mathematics grade of 80% by the end of year 6. With regards to physics, the school advises the students to take physics along with mathematics 3 and 4, and the reason behind that is simply because at higher level mathematics, the student will need mathematical knowledge which can only be acquired from mathematics 3 and 4. And as a result, for those students that are aiming in choosing physics 4, obviously the maths grading at the end of year 3 should be 80%, and also choose mathematics 3 and 4 as a subject. For any of the physics, biology, and chemistry subjects, the final mark for the year 3 science should be at least 80%. When it comes to ICT, the information and communications technology subject, the school has put down that the students need to be able to get at least 70% in mathematics by the end of year 3. a prerequisite for English literature is that the English grade in year 3 should be at least 80%. Regarding the art and design subject, we need to clarify that the subject cannot be combined with art from the first group because art exists in group A as well as group C. The student can choose either one or the other one. With regards to science 2, obviously we need a pass in science in year 3, and the subject is not to be taken with any of physics or biology from the second group. In order for any of the above subjects to run, a minimum of 8 students are required so that the lesson is carried out smoothly and so that the students can actually benefit the most from the class. This is a table that you can also ask from the school. It basically clarifies and explains the external exams that the students are able to take depending on their subject elective that they have over here. For example, I have already explained that the Greek, with regards to the Greek, which belongs in the core subjects, the students are able to take IGCSE in year 4. They complete their full A level in year 5, and in year 6 they have the opportunity to take the certificate of the very good knowledge of Greek language from the Ministry of Education and Culture. Another subject I will randomly choose now is, for example, any of the 4 code 4 subjects. If I was to take physics 4, again in year 4 the students will complete and take the IGCSE examinations. In year 5 they should be able to complete and take the international AES examination, and in year 6 they should complete the full A level. Let me point out that these examinations are not mandatory. That is, the students are not required, not all the students are required to take them. However, for subjects such as mathematics, English, and or Greek, the school strongly advises the students to actually take some of those examinations for better preparation of university, as we said at the beginning. So, what happens if the student has chosen a subject and for any reason we have the student wanting to change the subject? The school has put down a policy when it comes to changing optional subjects in year 4, and in year 5 as well, and I would like to go through this policy so that we are all clear and on the same page. In the course of year 4, the pupils may change their optional subjects by the end of September, that is the first month at the school, provided there are available places in the new subject they would like to join. The change will take place after consultation with the parents and with the career advisor, as well as the teachers of the new class that they would like to join. So during the first month in year 4, the students can change subject without any prerequisites in order for them to join the new subject. However, after September, the pupils may apply for a change by mid-December and will be required to take a written transfer exam in the new subject choice in January. They cannot take the transfer exam before January, and taken they achieve a minimum of 50% and that there are places available, the student can change subject at the beginning of January when we return back from Christmas vacation. This transfer examination will cover the material taught in the first semester, obviously not all the material. The teacher and the department will make the choice of the material. Pupils will collect from the subject teacher the material to be studied with the guiding questions during their Christmas vacation, and pupils need to continue attending the subject they are involved in until they pass the examination in January. So After the first month, the students can apply for a change before December. They study for the new subject in December. They take the exam in January, and if they pass the exam, they are free to join the new class. Another milestone over here is the end of year 4, where the students can again apply for a change. They will be given selective material from the material of year 4. They are to study during the summer, and they can take the transfer examination in September. Taken that they achieve over 50%, they are then able to join the new lesson, the new subject at the beginning of year 5. In the course of year 5 now, the pupils may change their optional subjects only for university placement purposes. What I mean by that is that if a university specifically requires the student to have a specific subject in order for them to join a particular course, that is the only reason that the school can accept a subject change in year 5. Again, the procedure is the same. They have to apply by mid-December in year 5, take the transfer examination. If they pass it, they can then join the subject. Pupils may not request a change of level within the same subject in cases when this would mean that the studying of the same subject would be repetitive. So an example of this would be specifically for mathematics. If I have a student in mathematics 3, it will be invaluable for any student to drop to mathematics 2, since they have already covered the material of mathematics 2 during their previous years. As I said, regarding the changing of optional subjects, all the subject changes are subject to place availability, and pupils in year 6 are not allowed, they are not even advised to make any subject changes, because that would mean that they would join a subject which is most probably at A level in year 6, and that means it's very difficult for the students to be able to follow the class and achieve good grades, which are going to be shown on their Apolitirio. So optional subjects, as we said, are chosen on the basis of a number of parameters. On one hand, we have the subjects that are considered to be a better preparation for specific university courses. However, on the other hand, we have each pupil's abilities, which we also have to take into consideration. These are some examples of advising that can take place. For example, if I have in mind that a student is interested in studying medicine, dentistry, vet science, or any other related health professions, then our advice would be for them to choose mathematics 4, biology 4, and chemistry 4. Obviously, mathematics 4 is only chosen in this case simply because it makes the student more competitive when it comes to getting a place at any medical school or any dentist school and so on. So the reason that we advise the students to take mathematics for these courses is in order for them to become more competitive and be able to achieve a place at these schools. Other advices include if somebody wants to study engineering. Once again, engineering includes a lot of different subject areas. It can be biomedical engineering, it can be mechanical engineering, it can be electrical, electronic, and so on. So it all depends on the specific type of engineering that we are talking about. If I was talking about civil or mechanical engineering, then my advice would be maths 3 or 4, physics, and any other subject, preferably of code or level 4. So the list goes on. For those of them that want to apply law and politics, our advice would be for them to join mathematics 3 and 4, history and economics, or English literature. And the reasoning behind that is simply because through those subjects they will develop the skills that the university will be requiring them to have in order to do their best and achieve the highest possible grades and development at universities. From there on, you have courses such as fine art, graphic design, illustration, fashion design, or anything else related to art. The student can choose anything, any level of mathematics for 3 or 2. Obviously, history would be advised over here, as well as any of the art or art and design courses. I'm going to skip the next slide because you have all this information in the booklet, so it's obviously at your own discretion to read it. And I would like to point out that this is just advising. As you know, education is not black and white. Obviously, students can take any subject combination, and at the end of the day, they can study whatever they want at the university. However, for some courses, and I repeat, for medicine courses or for economics as an undergraduate degree, universities do demand from the students to have specific subjects during their second part of the high school. It is strongly recommended to check with any of the management department or the teachers for any particular university courses that the students may have questions on. There are many university courses that allow for various subject combinations, and I repeat, the previous subject combination advices is basically just an indication of what subjects students can actually choose. In addition to any subject combination above, knowing an additional foreign language is always helpful, and it's always an addition to somebody's CV, and especially if you're considering continuing your studies in French or German-speaking countries. So, some important notes regarding the science subjects. For the science subjects at IGCSE, some experimental work will need to be performed during lesson time, whereby students perform the experiments and/or demonstrations are performed by the instructor as specified by the syllabus. For the science subjects at AES and A-level, pupils need to complete approximately 40 hours of lab work each year. These hours are scheduled throughout the academic year, and the lab hours are completed during class or in the afternoon lab sessions. There is a set number of afternoon lab hours which is mandatory for all the pupils in the science subjects, and there are additional mandatory lab hours for those pupils. There is also a lab fee for those students that choose science subjects. The lab fee is 60 euros and is for each of those sciences: physics, biology, chemistry, as well as the science 2 subject. And this is the cost is to actually cover the consumable material that the students are going to be using during their lab work. With regards to the art or the art and design subjects, there is a lab fee as well as of those subjects for the consumable that the students are going to be using, which amounts to 60 euros for any of those subjects in the arts. With regards to French and German, there are some important notes over here. So choosing a subject from Group D, either French or German ab initio, is not compulsory, as I have already stated. Pupils choosing to do French or German ab initio will be exempted, in other words, from the classes of computing and physical education from the core subjects. Let me repeat that. Those students that choose to do either French or German will be exempted from computing, will not be doing computing or physical education from the core subjects. For French or German ab initio, pupils need to complete approximately 77 hours of additional lessons in the afternoons in year 4, 58 hours in year 5 and in year 6. I repeat, those hours are scheduled throughout the academic year and they take place in the afternoon. They amount to 2 times a week in year 4 and 3 periods as a total in years 5 and 6. So for the languages, there will be some afternoon lessons, just as the sciences in the previous slide. and those lessons will be twice a week for 4 periods in year 4 and 3 periods in years 5 and 6. Some good to know facts so that you are aware what our students are capable of from the previous year statistics. 67% of our graduates who have applied to the UK universities last year received their offers based only on the Apolitirion. 16% received their offers based on a combination from the Apolitirion as well as the A-levels. Out of all the students that applied to universities, 90% of the graduates who applied in the UK and other universities met the conditions of their first choice university. That is, they got a place at the university that they were interested in going in the first place. University placement included 8 out of 24 leading UK universities, which belong to the Russell Group, the esteemed group of universities in the United Kingdom. And 2 of our last year graduates managed to secure places in the most competitive business accounting, which is also called the Flying Star programs in the UK. For this year, what I would like to identify or point out is that the students, due to Brexit, have the majority of the students have opted to go and apply to other European Union countries, which include countries such as Norway, Sweden, Austria, Netherlands, in which countries the majority of the undergraduate degrees are offered the English language. And this brings me to the last slide. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it was clear enough for you to understand the elective subjects system of our school. I would kindly like to request from you to have a look at the option booklet that your child has at home. Go through the different subject combinations that they can choose for the next 3 academic years. And obviously, if you want, you can book your online meeting with me or any other member of the management team through the reception of our school. Regarding the deadline for the form, this is set on the 18th of December 2020. So please make sure that your child is going to bring the form by that date so that the school can actually organize for the next academic year. Needless to say that if a student requires to change a subject or requests to change a subject after the 18th of December, they are free to come in my office in order to process the change. Thank you very much once again, and I am sorry that I couldn't meet with you face to face in order to give you this presentation. I hope that this video was helpful.